as a political scientist, I really did want to get your thoughts on Justice Scalia now saying that that is basically no longer needed, that it is now what he referred to as a racial entitlement. I'd like for you to weigh in on that.
I think that Justice Scalia was suffering from watching Fox News too much. I think they have
the echo chamber.
That echo chamber. They have the talking points, and they follow those talking points. That group of conservative right wing, what I call them right wing nuts. And so he slipped as a justice to call something that is a basic constitutional, not only civil right, but human right, an entitlement. That was a mistake that I'm sure if he had to do it again, he would never do it. But the bottom line is this whole issue of preclearance for Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act is really very important. And really, instead of trying to eliminate it, what the last election has demonstrated is they need to broaden it.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the chicanery, as you call it, not only took place, and this is what's for southern states. It doesn't even reach to the northern states like Pennsylvania and Ohio and some of the stuff that they were doing. So this is a critical point. And when you have somebody like that sitting at the highest realm of justice and power, it's very scary in terms of what the future holds if they vote wrong on that.
As a let's go back to your days as a professor instructor of political science at the University of District of Columbia. What was the message that you most wanted your children, your students, to leave the classroom with?
You know, very seldom when someone took my first fundamental university-wide requirement course of government, nobody wanted to be there. They just had to take it. And so they were there. And I used to always open up by saying, whether you like government or not, government likes you. And if you don't learn how this government operates, if you don't learn how it's structured, you don't learn how they execute power, you're going to be a victim for the rest of your life. You'll never know your rights, and you'll never understand the system that you're in. So the message that I always send to all my students: know your government, know your rights. Study your Constitution. Know what the federal government's rights are over the state over the local government. Know the difference between what you call the balance of power. Know the difference between the legislative power, the executive power, and the judicial power, and you can be a very powerful person. Somebody who rides around this city or travels in this country with me is always amazed at how I respond to different things, people of authority or whatever else, because I am so tuned in to what's right, what's permissible, what does not have to be tolerated. And it's a very personally powerful thing. And we can all walk around as individual people of power if we understand the system we work in and that we live in. So that's where I start with them. And then I end with them as if you don't vote, then you can't talk. You can't complain.
Don't complain.
But
right.
But once they get to the point, I had one student, I just want to tell right quick, who told me he didn't enjoy politics, he didn't want to vote, he didn't have to vote. And I asked him, I got so mad. It was right after Jesse had made his speech at I think there must have been the 15th March in Washington, rocks just laying around. I asked him why, and asked him where he worked. He said Sears. I went, just like you said, I went off. I said, do you know 15 years ago, you could not only not work there, you couldn't even try on their clothes.
Right.
And it was the vote that gave you the right to stand around here talking about you're a messenger, you're a manager at Sears. Don't come back in this class without a voting rights card, without a registration card. I can't make you vote, but you go and register.
Right, right. On my first show, I had Mayor Barry, Tony Williams.
I know them.
You heard of them before?
Yeah, I know them.
Sharon Pratt, and Vince Gray called in to participate. Former Mayor Adrian Fenty declined to participate. Two things. One is each of them talked about statehood, and my very clear position is that it's clear tyranny. Taxation without representation always was, is now, and always will be. Taxation without representation is tyranny. Now, so I want to get your comment on, let's first, if I can get your comment on D.C. statehood.
There's something in this city called the federal presence. I'm a political science professor, so I have to say a little bit more. And that is, there are a lot of buildings in this city that are owned and occupied by the federal government, and we cannot tax them. So we lose a big tax base. And they give us money back, and it's called the federal payment, which does not make up for the presence that they have.
Right.
We have no final decision over our laws, over our budget, over anything that governs our life. I think it's the craziest, most inhumane thing ever, and I can't understand why it's still going on. It's not even getting better.
Right.
I mean, if it was getting better, history corrects itself in increments. That just hasn't happened, and so until it does, and everybody says when we get less democratic and less black, it will get more, susceptible to being able to get the vote for our to guard our own destiny. But I don't know when that's going to happen.
I'm sure I'm right now at the risk of probably repeating myself, but I don't remember, so I'll do it anyhow. Was to say that, this is the nation's capital. We are the beacon of democracy. And here in the nation's capital, the opposite of democracy is being practiced. And I think that's just, that's a travesty. That's an absolute travesty.